Beautiful people. Now, the only thing I told Scott, you have to do me one favor. I'll do it. But if we have the biggest crowd you've ever had, even though we're in the middle of the worst snowstorm, we don't have snow like this in New York. But this is one beautiful, I may not be out of here. You know, I'm supposed to be lifting off. I don't think the plane's going to be lifting off very soon. But I said, the one thing you have to do for me, you have to announce that it's the biggest crowd you've ever had. So is it? He said, absolutely.
Absolutely is, Donald. And I think they'll actually shovel your plane out for you to help you get off. So
you may have to come. So now we know it's the biggest crowd, so I'm happy about that, okay? It's the biggest. And look at all the people up there. Wow, that's amazing. It's a great facility and a great owner. Thank you, and thank you very much. Really nice. So, first thing I have to do, because he's a friend of mine, he's an amazing guy, an amazing champion, and a really nice person, Tom Brady. Come on, Tom, you gotta win, Tom.
yeah.
He's a great champ, he's a fantastic guy, and I can tell you so many stories about him, but as good as he is as a player, he's that way as a person too, and he's a little bit injured, but him being injured, he's still better than anybody, and you have the best coach, and you have the best owner, and you get really a special group, so hopefully good luck today. I was thinking about, just to see if you're really Trump fans, I was going to keep you here beyond 4 o'clock, so we'll all, right? I was going to keep you like a little, now we'll be out of here very quick. In fact, we're going to make this very quick, because if I don't make it quick, I'm definitely not going to be able to lift off, all right, Scott? So this journey began in June, and nobody had any idea it was going to be like this. I've been now on the cover of Time magazine so many times over the last few months, it's been incredible. And the last one, last week's Time cover, I loved the story. I just thought the story was so well written and so professionally written, without any barbs. You know, normally, and Scott knows this very well, even when we get the right stories, these people in the back, they have to take a shot. It's always like, you know, you'll have 2 good paragraphs and then a kill, and then 3 good ones and a kill. And in the end, the story's lousy because the kills, they're bigger than the good ones. But this Time magazine story, it really describes what's happened with the campaign. It's been an amazing thing. And the Wall Street Journal today has an incredible article about the debate and myself and the debate. And a lot of people have the articles, and a lot of people have put out really nice things as to what happened in the debate, and we're very happy with the end result. And, you know, I've been having somebody been following me along and being very nice no matter what I said. He was very, very nice. And I kept saying, you know, I'm a professional. Like this man's a professional, like this man's a professional. I'm a professional. I kept saying, when's Ted Cruz going to say something bad? Come on, Ted, you've been sick. Come on, Ted, say. But he kept saying good, good, good. And I'm just waiting, and I'm saying good. Because a lot of people do not like Ted, to put it mildly. And I kept saying, what, am I the only person that thinks he's a nice guy? So as it turned out, he finally went off the wagon a little bit and went a little crazy. And it's he's being a great hypocrite. When you think that, he talks about he's going to be Robin Hood, he's protecting, then it finds out that on his personal disclosure form, he didn't disclose that he's borrowing a lot of money from Goldman Sachs. He said, he forgot. And then, so that he forgot about Goldman Sachs. But then today they have another story where he forgot another bank, Citibank. And he forgot. Now, how do you control Citibank, and how do you control, and right fairly, about Citibank, about Goldman Sachs, about these big, powerful banks? You're a senator, and yet you owe them money with a personal guarantee. I don't think it works that way. So he obviously didn't want the voters to know that he is totally controlled, lock, stock, and barrel, by Citibank and by Goldman Sachs. And I think that's very hypocritical, I'll be honest with you. I think it's very, very hypocritical. And then he spoke badly about the people of New York, really, because, cities are cities, but they're basically people. They're brick and mortar and they're people. And he spoke very disparagingly about the people of New York. And I've been with the people of New York for a long time, but when the World Trade Center came down, I watched these incredible people rebuild from the day it came down, literally. They were there when other buildings in the surrounding area they thought were going to fall, and you had people working, trying to help the most horrific sights you've ever seen, trying to help, do whatever they could. And I was there when we actually thought the U.S. Steel building was coming down, and I'll never forget that I was standing next to these two massive, wonderful firemen, and we heard a screech, like a screech, steel on steel. And it was a couple of days after the buildings, and I was down there we had a crew of people that, you know, to help. I mean, they needed a lot of help. I've never seen anything like I saw. And they heard a screech, and everybody thought that the U.S. Steel building was coming down. And it was not so far from us. And these two guys, they were massive guys, two really big, because I'm a big guy. And they grabbed me. I must tell you, honestly, I never knew I could run that fast. But they were running just as fast, and they had my arms, and we were just running, and these are incredible people. And when you think, firemen coming in from Long Island and other parts of New York, you know, you're talking about insulting 20, 25 million people if you talk about the area. When they drove in, they heard about it, and firemen driving in that had nothing to do with it from Long Island and other parts. And by the way, driving in and coming in from Iowa, and from all over the country. We had fire departments from Iowa coming in. It was the one thing, it was so incredible to see and to witness. And people coming in from all over. But firemen coming in during the blaze, they knew that building was in serious trouble. And they got there, they come through the tunnels and up, and they stop and they run. They run into the buildings, and they're running up the stairs. And they knew it could collapse. Everybody knew it could collapse. And the buildings are coming down, first building, second building, and you have people running up the stairs as that's happening. And Ted Cruz criticizes New York and the people of New York is a disgrace. I think it's a total disgrace. A total disgrace. So I just, I have to say, so I thought what he said was very, very, very sad. And even during the debate, he said, well, the poll numbers, I mean, I've been going up since, Scott will tell you, essentially since I went out. Don't forget, they kept using the word plateau. First week I was at 6, and all of the pundits said, well, he's plateaued, he's got a 6. Next week I hit 12, then I hit 14, then I hit 18, or whatever the numbers may have been. And the next week I hit like 17, and then 20, and every week it was, well, he plateaued. Then I got up to around 24, 25, and they said, yeah, this isn't good. And then last week, a couple of polls had me at 42%. Pretty good, right? Don't forget, that's 42, and at that time, I think they had like 15 people. Now they're rapidly dropping out, and I think probably after Iowa or New Hampshire, there's going to be a lot of people leave. But, when you have 42, and you have 14 or 15 people that they're talking about, that's a tremendous percentage. I'd take that if we had 3, right? If they had 3, we'd take the 42. But we certainly take it where we have 15 people. So it's been an amazing run, and I've really enjoyed it. People say to me, what have you learned? And one of the things I learned, Scott, and you probably learned this too, I hope you have, because to me it's been a great experience. I've been written about very falsely, and the public gets it. They really understand it. Some guy the other day on television said, and they'll say things that are so unbelievable. I supported very heavily John McCain. He lost. It's okay. I supported Mitt Romney. He lost. I thought John McCain's, was a tough fight because the economy was not exactly too good. And I think that would have been a tough. I'm not sure that Abraham Lincoln could have won that one, right? But Mitt Romney, I would have thought that he could have won. We had a failing president. I think that's one that should have been won, and for some reason it wasn't. But I supported these two guys. But I supported very heavily in 2008. I supported John McCain, raised a lot of money for him. I was on his committees, everything else. And I had this guy, this really dopey guy. I was watching last night, Bill O'Reilly, who's a great guy. But this dopey guy, no, I'm not talking about that. This dopey guy, Glenn Beck, he looks like hell. Oh, he's like a dope. And I'd watch him cry on television all the time. He's doing very badly. His thing is falling apart. His company is falling apart. I see him on television. I actually called Bill O'Reilly. I said, Bill, why do you have a guy like that on television? Fox fired him, and then he goes out, does this thing. We heard he was doing well. He's not. But he's on. And the thing that bothered me, he said, Donald Trump voted for Barack Obama. Me. And here's the problem. The good thing about having a large microphone is that we can at least explain to people that these people lie. They lie so much. The reason he doesn't like me is because I didn't do a show. He asked me so many times, do my show, and I didn't do it because I don't respect him. I did it because I'm so busy. I couldn't do a show. This was quite a while ago. I couldn't do a show, and just time-wise. And then all of a sudden enough time goes by, and I understand that, so he started hitting me, and that was the end of that. But the guy goes on television last night with a rally, says that I voted for Barack Obama, and I'm on John McCain's committee, raised a tremendous amount of money for John McCain, had dinner with John McCain and his wife right before the election, and I got to listen to this idiot named Glenn Beck saying I was for Obama. And I say, it's sort of interesting. Most people wouldn't bring it up. Most people don't even see it. But it's sort of a good thing to bring up if you can. If you can have the experience of talking to people, because some people see something like that and they believe it. There's nobody to refute them. Do you agree with it? You get it. I like to bring it up because, he can say other things and you don't bother. You don't want to waste time. All you do is make him a little bit bigger. But he's a failed guy. But, I like to bring it up because I like to let people know it's so dishonest out there with the media. It's so dishonest. So we like to do that. The thing that I've learned more than anything else is how smart the public is, how caring the public is. And, when I fill up stadiums, I fill up places, it's incredible. Like today, look at all these people in the snowstorm. It's an amazing thing. They're doing it because, my theme is Make America Great Again. And that's it. It's very simple. It's Make America Great. And it's very simple, but very factual. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make it great. And I actually say, because after, I didn't say it at the beginning, but I go to Dallas, we have, Scott, 21,000 people. Mobile, Alabama had 35,000 people. We had in Oklahoma 20,000 people. When I go to New Hampshire, I have the biggest crowds by far. In Lowell, we filled out that arena. We had to send away 7,000 people, which still, I'm going to go back and we're going to take care of those 7,000 people. I felt badly. But, that big arena, which people don't even use because you can't fill it up, we not only filled it up, we had to send away 7,000 people. But whether it's New Hampshire or Iowa, South Carolina, we're doing so well. And the reason is because people really want hope. There's no hope with these people that we have running for office, except for him, of course. But the reason he's not in is because maybe they gave up on hope. And here's a good man, by the way. I hope you're going to do it again. Are you going to do it again? I hope. We got to look something. We got to get him back. We're losing our good ones. We're keeping the bad ones. We're losing our good ones. The right thing's going to happen, and we'll be behind him 100%. We have to, because Vice President. Hey, that sounds like, hey. You know what? And he's Central Casting. Look at that guy, Central Casting. A great guy and a great, beautiful, great wife and family. So important. So what I have seen is the level of enthusiasm and the brilliance of the people. The people as a unit. The people are so smart. They really, really get it. And frankly, if they didn't get it, they wouldn't be showing up in these massive numbers. Because I think you'd agree, Scott, this is like a movement. I got a call from one of the top writers, and he's a liberal writer, but that's all right. We can get those calls every once in a while. We don't want to take too many of them. But he said to me, and this was 3 months ago, the summer had, sort of ended, and we were doing really well, and they called it the summer of Trump. And he said, could I ask you a question? How does it feel? I said, how does what feel? He said, how does it feel? You've dominated everything. The whole conversation's about what you are and about what you're saying, more importantly. How does it feel? I said, does it feel anything? To me, unless I win, what difference does it make? He said, no. It matters because you've changed politics as we know it. I said, no, you're wrong. If I don't win, it doesn't matter. And when I say I don't win, I mean the top, because otherwise all of these things, whether it's the strength of the border, whether it's any of the other things, the deals, the horrible deals that we made, the trade deals that we have, putting the right people in place. China is making 500, we have a trade deficit this year with China, $500 billion. Not going to happen if I'm running things. It's not going to happen. So essentially, I said, and I respect it, he said, because the summer of Trump, then he said, and it's the autumn of Trump, because I spoke to him recently. I I said, still doesn't matter. It only matters if we win. Because I can, look at all these beautiful headlines, and today the editorial of the Wall Street Journal was really nice today, and they talked about the debate and the different things, and they were very nice. But it all doesn't matter unless we win, because unless we win, we can't put the right things into gear. And I deal with the politicians, and they're all talk, they're no action. When I say build a wall, they don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. They don't know where to go. No, they really don't know. They don't even have a clue. And when I say the different elements that I say, and I say it very strongly, they don't know. For instance, who's going to pay for the wall? Mexico's going to pay for the wall. They're going to pay. Remember I said it. They're going to pay for the wall. The politicians come up to me on the dais, a couple of them. Nice people. I get along actually with most of them, and they say, Mexico won't pay for the wall. I said, of course they will. Every business person in here knows what I'm talking about, because they make so much money off the United States. Do the business people get it? Do you guys know what I mean? I'll bet this guy knows, right? It's called, hey, if you're making many billions more than the cost of the wall, they're going to pay. They're going to pay. Nabisco is moving to Mexico. Ford moving to Mexico. Many, many companies moving to Mexico. They're going to pay 100%. Not like 99 points. They're going to pay 100%. Now, maybe in different forms. You have to have flexibility, because maybe they won't want to do it one way, then we'll do it the other way. If they don't want to do it, they'll do it. And we'll get along with them better. We'll get along with them better than they get along with them right now. Because right now they take advantage of us. I know Mexico very well. I have thousands of people from Mexico and Hispanic employees. Tens of thousands over the years. Tens of thousands. They're fantastic people. They're unbelievable people. But the leaders are too smart for our leaders. And they're too cunning. That's an important word, cunning. They're too cunning. And what's happening at the border is a disgrace. It's a disgrace. The whole thing is a total disgrace. Do you know in Mexico, it's probably the hardest, but one of the hardest is, if Scott and his beautiful family want to become citizens of Mexico, which is unlikely, I think you're very happy in New Hampshire, it will be impossible for that to happen. Okay? Impossible. Impossible. Here we have people go through and they, walk in, and essentially they might as well be citizens, because the illegal immigrants are treated better than our vets. They're treated better, I'm telling you. They're treated better than our vets. And Scott knows. I mean, I had a friend that went to Mexico, and he was there for like a week, and he was there with his family, and he was an extra day or 2 days because he had a problem with transportation. And they get called by the guards. When are you leaving? Oh, why are we leaving? Well, you had a pass today. And by the way, they're right. It's not a wrong thing. With us, it's when are you leaving? How about like in 25 years I'm going to leave? Okay, I'll leave when I want. We have our Border Patrol people who actually called me. They wanted to meet me, and I met with them in Laredo, Texas. These are incredible people. They want to do the job. They're saying, stand back. They're told to stand back. Don't do, stand back. These are people that can do the job. And they're told to stand back. So we are going to have an amazing country again. We have a great country, but we're going to make it so much better. We're going to make it so much sharper. We're not going to be the stupid people anymore. We're not going to have leaders that are incompetent. They don't know what they have done. I guarantee you, I talked about so much the prisoners with the Iran deal, where we give them $150 billion, and then they treat those sailors like, did anybody get sick at watching that scene? Think of it, I know you would have gotten totally sick. I wouldn't have wanted to call you then. Sick and angry. When people said, they were saying the other day, Trump is angry. Of course I'm angry. I won't be angry. Who's not angry? And they wanted me to say, no, I'm really not angry. I'm so happy with the way that the country's a mess. I am angry. I won't be angry for long, because when I fix it, I'm going to be very happy. But right now, I am angry. But think of the scene. You have these 10 sailors. I don't know what happened. They went, I guess it sounded like they took a little shortcut through a big body of water. Okay, big deal. And they get locked in. And they're dropped to their knees in a begging position, hands up, guns to their heads. And this is supposed to be our ally. And trust me folks, in this, one of the stupidest deals ever made, which, by the way, won't do a thing in terms of nuclear, other than maybe proliferate, okay? You're gonna have more, because other people now are talking about getting it, because this deal is so bad. We've made a terror nation a very rich nation. More importantly, we've given them Iraq. We've handed to them. They've been trying to get Iraq forever. As far back as you can go in time, they've wanted Iraq. And Iraq has, by the way, people don't know, the second largest oil reserves in the world. So not only did Iran get this deal, but they got Iraq, courtesy of the United States. Now they've taken over Yemen. And the reason they want Yemen is take a look at the border with Saudi Arabia. It is a long, beautiful border right along Saudi Arabia, because they want to go get that oil too. I mean, what Iran has done is incredible, but $150 billion. I have been mentioning this so much, and I guarantee you the United States has been putting so much pressure. Please give us our prisoners back, please, please, please. This should have been done 3-4 years ago when the deal was struck. Before the deal was made, and this is the world's longest deal, they should have said, we want our prisoners back. Now the reason, and what's happening, the reason they let the sailors go, is because in 2 days they were getting $150 billion. And these are smart people. They're not gonna say, well, we're gonna keep the same. They had to get the money. So they let them go. I guarantee you, Scott, that if that money weren't in play, they would have kept those sailors, 100%. They would have kept them, just like they kept the 4 people. Now I have to see what the deal is for the 4 people. Because somebody said, they're getting 7 people back. So essentially they get 150 billion plus 7, and we get 4. Doesn't sound too good. Doesn't sound too good. But we have to see, because I just heard about this an hour ago. And I'm happy they're coming back, but I will tell you, it's a disgrace that they've been there for so long. It's a disgrace. Remember that, a total disgrace. So when we started, just to finish, and then Scott and I will talk for a couple of minutes, but when we started, it really worked, and very importantly, it really started off as trade and border and this and that. Then we had Paris, and then all of a sudden it started looking like this whole situation was taking a very, very deep and dark, it was becoming a very deep and dark picture. And all of a sudden, CNN did the first poll, and all there back there. I don't want to give them any unnecessary credit, because it's not like they treat me great, but they do these polls, and the polls, I guess they're legit with their polls, because Trump is always winning in the polls, right? You've seen this guy. Who wins on security? Trump. Who wins at the border? Trump. Who wins at the economy? Trump, by so much. And by the way, I don't mean Trump like Trump gets, a point more. Trump gets double, triple, quadruple, much more than anybody else. And then who wins on ISIS? And who wins with the military? Trump, Trump, Trump. So, all of a sudden, and this started happening, pretty much since Paris, and then you had the horrible situation in California with the couple. She comes in on a fiancé permit, and she's radicalized, and the other guy's probably radicalized, but he became radicalized, and they killed people. They gave them a wedding reception. People gave them a wedding reception. I mean, something's going on. We have to figure it out, folks. Something is going on. That even today, I'm leaving, and I'm seeing what happened. Today, a hotel was blown up. Many, many people dead. They don't even know how many people. Just blown up. Innocent people, blown up. And World Trade Center, we're talking about World Trade Center. Flying airplanes into the World Trade Center, into the Pentagon, 3rd plane, who knows where it was going? Who knows? They say it was going at the White House, but who knows where it was going? Brave people on that plane, by the way, brave people. But really brave people. But something's going on, and so it's changed very much, and I have been talking much more about the military, and they have much more confidence in me with the military than they have with these politicians that don't know anything. And they don't, believe me, they don't. And everything is, the word unpredictable, Scott, and so sometimes it's very tough for me, because they'll say, well, what do you do about this? What do you do about this? And I want to say, I have a chance of winning. I don't want to really tell you what I'm going to do, like on military. Like I've been saying, oil. Take the oil, take the oil. I never wanted to say it. I wanted to surprise them. But it got to a point 6 months ago when I had to say it. I was saying to them, no, I don't want to tell you. I know what to do, but I don't want to tell you. And they say, oh, he doesn't really know. Finally, I had to do it. I mean, you have to win. I hated to tell them, take the oil. And then the government said, you can't take the oil, you can't do that, you can't do it. General MacArthur couldn't do it, General George Patton, they would have had the oil 4 years ago. They would have had the oil. He would have had the oil before he stepped out of his airplane, right, to claim victory. But it's one of those things. So a couple of weeks ago, right after Paris, they started taking the oil. Finally. But I said, take the oil and keep the oil. They just take the oil. They just bomb the oil. I said, take it. No, you keep the oil. Folks, you buy it, you keep it, right? And then you distribute it. You take some and you give some to the veterans and to the wounded warriors and to the families who lost people. And you give some to the families that have had death and horror in their lives. And what have we got out of Iraq? We've gotten out of Iraq, I'll tell you, $2 trillion it cost, thousands of lives, wounded warriors who we all love all over the place. We got nothing. And they won't even listen to us. And now Iran is taking Iraq. So I said, keep the oil. We give some to people that really were affected. I mean, you have families that lost sons and daughters. They got nothing. They have nothing. So I just say that we're going to run our country properly. We're going to be respected again. And it's great that you're here. And if I don't get the hell out of here soon, I'm never going to be able to figure it out.
Right.
So he'll ask me a couple of questions.
Now, first of all, thank you very much, Donald. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. Cheer for Donald Trump, everybody. So, Donald, you already talked about, I think, at great length right now about the border and your position on that issue. I'm somebody who served 35 years in the military. I was a rank of colonel, last 4 in the Pentagon, and I've had many people come up to me who are probably going to raise their hands, but I'll ask the questions for our veterans. You're right. The VA is screwed up. You have people that are hurting, they're dying while waiting in line, and they poo-poo it. They pass a bill after people are dying, and they still have not done anything. The question from the crowd is, what will you do to have the backs of our veterans?
All right, well, first of all, great question. The VA is one of the most corrupt enterprises in all of Washington and the country. It's so poorly run. It's so poorly run. And with that being said, by the way, I've met some people that are really great doctors, and some of the people are even saying some of the doctors are fantastic, but the administration is largely corrupt, and it's a disgrace. What's going on with the VA is a disgrace. So, I hear somebody scratching.